Welcome to AI in Marketing. I am your host and news curator Stan Bertolo from Nitro Marketing. You will find links to all the stories mentioned in this episode in the show notes.
This is Nia, your voice for today's headlines. It's Thursday, January 29. Here is what we are covering. Amid escalating tensions with the Trump administration, European nations are increasingly seeking to reduce their dependence on U.S. technology. This shift is partly driven by the Trump administration's sanctions, which have targeted individuals like Kimberly Prost, a Canadian judge on the International Criminal Court, for her involvement in authorizing investigations into alleged U.S. war crimes in Afghanistan. These sanctions have highlighted the vulnerabilities faced by those reliant on U.S. tech and financial systems. European leaders are now more aware of the risks associated with over-reliance on American technology, as demonstrated by Belgium's cybersecurity chief, Miguel de Brucker, who acknowledged Europe's dependence on U.S. digital infrastructure. The European Parliament recently voted to encourage the European Commission to identify areas where the EU can reduce its reliance on foreign tech providers, noting that over 80% of its digital products and services come from non-EU countries. This non-binding vote aligns with efforts by the European Commission to localize technology and reduce dependencies. France has announced plans to replace US-based video conferencing tools with domestic alternatives. Concerns about digital sovereignty have persisted since the U.S. Patriot Act allowed extensive surveillance, which was further exposed by Edward Snowden's revelations. At the consumer level, there is a growing movement to switch from U.S. tech services, with resources available to guide users toward alternatives. Next, Apple has launched its new Creator Studio bundle, offering a suite of creative apps for a single subscription price of $12.99 per month or $129 per year, with significant discounts for educators and students. The bundle includes Final Cut Pro, Logic Pro, and Pixelmator Pro for Mac and iPad, as well as Motion, Compressor, and MainStage for Mac. It also features enhanced capabilities for Keynote, Pages, and Numbers, and new AI features in Keynote. Final Cut Pro now includes transcript search, visual search, and beat detection, while Logic Pro introduces Chord ID and Synth Player. Pixelmator Pro has been updated for both Mac and iPad, with a focus on touch-first interface and Apple Pencil compatibility. Reviews suggest that while Adobe Creative Cloud remains the industry standard, Apple Creator Studio offers a compelling alternative, especially for those within the Apple ecosystem. The bundle is seen as a cost-effective option that could attract users away from Adobe, particularly those who value cross-platform functionality between Mac and iPad. However, some reviewers note that Apple's suite lacks certain tools and compatibility with non-Apple devices, which could be a limitation in collaborative environments. On a different note, Neuralink has announced that 21 participants, known as neural knots, are now part of its clinical trials aimed at integrating human brains with technology. The company's first product, telepathy, enables individuals with quadriplegia to control digital devices and robotic limbs using brain signals. This technology records neural activity from the motor cortex, translating it into digital commands. Participants have achieved communication speeds exceeding typical mouse usage, with some reaching over 10 bits per second. The technology also aids ALS patients by mapping imagined finger movements to a digital keyboard, achieving typing speeds of 40 words per minute. Neuralink plans to enhance this to 140 words per minute. Future developments include a device for vision restoration and a more automated surgical process. Meanwhile, the New York Times discusses Esther Perel's views on the allure and limitations of artificial intelligence in romantic relationships. Perel, a renowned psychotherapist, argues that while AI offers a sense of safety and predictability in intimate interactions, it lacks the authenticity and depth of human connections. She emphasizes that AI-driven relationships, such as those with chatbots, can simulate understanding and empathy, but cannot replace the genuine emotional exchanges found in human interactions. Perel notes that AI's ability to mimic human conversation can create an illusion of intimacy, potentially leading individuals to prioritize these interactions over real-life relationships. This reliance on AI for emotional support might result in a diminished capacity for dealing with the complexities and unpredictability inherent in human relationships. Perel warns that the convenience and control offered by AI could lead to a preference for these interactions, undermining the development of essential interpersonal skills. She stresses the importance of embracing the messiness and challenges of human connections, which foster growth and resilience. The article highlights the need for awareness of AI's limitations in providing true intimacy, and the potential consequences of substituting human relationships with artificial ones. Perel advocates for a balanced approach, where technology complements rather than replaces human interaction, ensuring that the richness of human relationships is preserved in an increasingly digital world. In other news, Meta has invested $6.4 million in an advertising campaign to improve the image of data centers amid growing public concern during the AI boom. The campaign features videos highlighting the positive impact of Meta's data centers in Altoona, Iowa, and Los Lunas, New Mexico, portraying them as job creators revitalizing rural communities. However, the ads have been criticized for their idealistic tone. Other companies like Digital Realty, QTS, and NTT Data are also planning campaigns to counteract public backlash. Concerns over energy costs and water use have led to delays and cancellations of data center projects in several states, including Oregon and Virginia. The recent winter storm has further strained power grids, intensifying the debate over data center expansion. Shifting gears, Qasar Younis, co-founder of Applied Intuition, views company building as a craft. Raised in a Detroit suburb, Younis worked multiple jobs from a young age, inspired by his father's entrepreneurial journey. He pursued engineering and business, founding 2 startups, one of which was acquired by Google. Younis later joined Y Combinator, gaining insights into successful startups. In 2017, he partnered with Peter Ludwig to create Applied Intuition, focusing on software for autonomous vehicles. The company, now valued at $15 billion, serves major automakers. Younis emphasizes the importance of choosing a co-founder, market, and idea in that order. He believes in learning from diverse sources, including history and art, to enhance entrepreneurial skills. After that, AI-educated consumers are increasingly using generative AI tools to research high-stakes purchases such as mortgages, insurance, healthcare, and telecom services. These consumers arrive at decisions with specific questions and a strong intent to buy, having compressed extensive research into a short period. Despite this, many businesses fail to connect their online marketing efforts with offline sales channels, leading to missed opportunities in converting these informed customers. Invoca's 2025 B2C Buyer Experience Report highlights that 41% of consumers, including 61% of Gen Z, use AI for research, yet 67% still prefer human interaction when finalizing purchases. This preference underscores the need for companies to prepare their sales teams to handle AI-educated inquiries effectively. Salesforce data indicates that AI and human agents have driven significant sales, yet many contact centers score poorly in conversation quality, with only 28% of calls rated as excellent. To capture the potential revenue from AI-educated consumers, businesses should audit their AI presence, optimize for AI discovery, train agents for informed conversations, and use insights to refine AI strategies. As interest rates drop and refinancing applications rise, the importance of bridging AI research with human conversion becomes crucial. Companies that adapt to this shift will secure a competitive edge in high-value purchase categories, while those that do not risk falling behind. With that said, a Forbes analysis reveals a leadership crisis in effectively delegating tasks to AI agents. Despite AI's potential to boost productivity by up to 55%, 95% of organizations see no return due to a lack of delegation skills. The issue is not technological, but human, with leaders needing to bridge generational divides and improve communication skills. Gen Z employees often lack directive skills, while older leaders struggle with AI's experimental nature. Effective AI use requires clear workflows and structured thinking, yet only 16% of organizations have documented processes. As AI becomes ubiquitous, competitive advantage will depend on leaders who can clearly organize and delegate tasks to both human and AI workers, emphasizing the need for organizational clarity and communication. Finally, Google searches per U.S. user have decreased by nearly 20% compared to the previous year, according to a report by Datos and SparkToro. This decline is attributed to AI-powered answers and instant results, which reduce the need for repeat searches. While Google maintains its dominance in search, the reduction in searches per user leads to fewer opportunities for clicks, ads, and traffic, despite stable total search volume. In contrast, Europe experienced only a 2% to 3% decline in searches per user. Traditional search still accounts for about 10% of U.S. desktop activity, a figure that remains stable throughout 2025. The report indicates that AI is being integrated into existing search behaviors rather than replacing them entirely. AI tools, despite their growth, still represent less than 1% of total U.S. desktop activity. Google's AI mode accounts for a mere 0.06% of U.S. desktop events. Search behavior is evolving, with mid-length queries of 6 to 9 words growing fastest, while very long queries show higher volatility. Search-driven discovery is becoming more concentrated, with platforms like YouTube, Reddit, Amazon, Wikipedia, and Facebook continuing to dominate. ChatGPT has risen to the 7th position among U.S. search destinations, while Quora has dropped out of the top 15. Traffic from AI tools is increasingly directed towards established platforms, with ChatGPT and Google's Gemini leading in user reach.
Thank you for tuning in to AI in Marketing. If you want to learn more, check out the episode description. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. Contact us to learn how to launch your own AI-generated podcast at nitromarketing.com. That's NYTRO marketing.com. See you tomorrow for more AI and tech news.